Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Lancescurv. You know, I don't always know what time period we're living in. It's confusing when you see certain things and it just never seems to end. Javion McGee, we lost him yesterday. He was taken from us. And it's a sketchy investigation, if you can call it that. So right now, whatever I say as fact might not be, because all of the facts are not out yet. I want to welcome everyone into the room. Queen Sister Gifty Sine is first on in. I want to welcome you, my dear sister. It's always a pleasure to know that you're there. And even if everyone doesn't show up right now, because this was not a scheduled show, and I do want to apologize about last night. I did not do a show. I was so exhausted, and I hate to admit that, but I was exhausted. There's a lot going on in a positive way. But when I saw this earlier, it struck me in a special way, not special in the way of a celebration, a birthday party, a new birth, somebody graduating high school or college, but in a unique way, maybe I should say. Because, oh, sweet D, thank you for being here. I know I didn't schedule this, but you're so kind to be here, my sister. Thank you. But when I see things like this, and I will explain, it reminds me of a situation that I had been through with the police officers, and you well know that, what happened with me. And for those who don't, I will put it out there on a separate video because the old channel took that when it was taken down. But I start to think about the moments of frustration, suffocation, the moments when you really begin to see that death is a possibility. And the panic that sets in right before this happens, where there's a surge of energy to try to get away. Like a child who's chasing after a mouse and the mouse knows it's cornered and the child doesn't know that it's a living human, not human, but a living being. But I would say a mouse is more human than the people who call themselves human who did this to Javan McGee. And that mouse will do some things. It will leap far to get away from that foot to stomp its life out. There's a surge, adrenalized, panicked. Now, we know how social media can be in the present day. We know that social media has means of policing its streets, and we cannot say certain things. And if we do, we will be penalized, oftentimes with our platforms removed. But the funny thing about it is they don't give a list of words that you cannot say. They just go after you, and you have to use your wits. Like a person who grew up in the street knows that they have to have something on them to protect themselves. While in the suburbs, that state of mind does not exist. Diane, welcome, my sister. Love and light. Love and light. It's filling up. We're getting the superstars here. And I love you, my sisters. So we have a young man named Javion McGee. And I'm not going to say exactly what the report said. I'm going to speak on it in a roundabout way. On September 13th, 2024, yesterday, the world lost Javion McGee, a 21-year-old truck driver from Chicago, in a horrific and deeply disturbing way. At this particular point, when I jotted these notes, I basically said that he was found in the traditional way that many black men throughout history in America were found when it pertains to the proximity from a tree. And you all know what that is. I'm not going to say the word because these cyber streets are heavily policed. And when they know an individual is known for speaking his mind, they'll watch that one even harder. It was in Henderson, North Carolina. His death, though it occurred under suspicious circumstances, has yet to receive the attention it deserves from mainstream media. And I wrote some other notes on that, and I may include that in this show, or maybe I'll do another show and just focus in on that. It's a story, read between the lines, that echoes through the ages. A reminder of the violent and oppressive past that Black Americans have been forced to endure for centuries. For centuries. This is a fact. This is in American history books and watered down in American books, because when I came up many decades ago in the New York City public school system, they didn't go into too much. While McGee's family is grieving and demanding answers, they are up against a system that has often turned a blind eye to the suffering and brutalization of Black lives. And anytime I see these two words together, it kind of reminds me of Black Lives Matter. And this is a side note I just thought to say. Here you have some sisters, I don't even want to call them sisters, who knew all along what their agenda was, capitalizing on this type of pain that we go through, the full range of it. And they prostituted our movement, our pain for their gain. To me, they are just as bad as the people who have committed these actions, Black men and women, just as bad. Whatever place these people who do these things go to, those who ran Black Lives Matter with that intent, of course, there were people who didn't know, who were in the lower ranks of it, who had a wholesome heart. But those who are up top, who knew exactly what that hustle was about, they're just as bad as a person who will do this to a Black man or a Black woman, which we know it was mostly Black men. That's not to reduce Black women. Allow me to say what I'm saying. But they did other things to our Black women. And I have to be careful on how I speak it, because, you know, we're not allowed to speak on our pain and suffering, which didn't go on for a couple years. It went on for centuries, and it's still going on, not just because of this particular unfortunate happening, but it's going on so many different levels. And again, I say, it's rearing its ugly head. It's America's ongoing legacy of terror. But could you imagine if we had smartphones centuries ago, when there was no fear of getting caught? And even then, for those who did what they did, there was still no fear of getting caught, even when they were doing it, because this was acceptable. It accepted because we were relegated to the status of only being no more than an animal in property. An animal. And we didn't even have that status. Because you know how they say it, dogs, or a dog is a man's best friend. We didn't even have that status, and a dog did not build America like we have. Ain't that something? The dogs were something sicked on us. man's best friend. I guess it was man's best friend. But what man? What man? What man did the dog benefit when they were sicking the dogs on us? This is not hate speech. This is fact. Can I speak facts now? Or maybe we should be selective in our facts. Kelly Land, welcome on in. Thank you for being here. But I don't understand the double-sided rules where your pain is less, your suffering is less. Now, there was a video that they had on TikTok that, let me see if I can be able to play at least, and I want to be safe. I can play it, but I want to be safe. I want you to hear what the young lady had to say. It wasn't that long of a video, but I think she can explain it better than I. I have to go through now and go through my settings here. I'm going to keep this banner up as I share the screen, but you won't see the screen. I know I can share it, but I just don't want to go through somebody. I won't say in high places, but somebody in strategic places that may think to use any excuse to take this down. So allow me to play this and listen well. Let me know in the chat room if the sound is coming through. I'm about to click the button right now.
Hey y'all, I would have never thought I had to make this kind of post on my TikTok, but my family desperately needs your help. This is my little cousin, Javion McGee. He's from Chicago, Illinois. He was 21 years old and would have been 22 in a few weeks. He was found hanging from a tree in Henderson, North Carolina yesterday. He drove a truck, so that was his reason for even being out there. The police officers are trying to say that he went to Walmart and purchased the rope and hung himself. We obviously don't believe that, and we are just asking for your help to push his story out there. This isn't covered on any local platforms. No news stations, radio, none of that. So we're trying to push it out there. We really need your help. The police officers in the coroner's office are giving us a hard time, not allowing his mom to identify the body. At one point, they told her she can't identify the body due to COVID. And then the next day, today, they told her the father has to give her permission for that, which he said that he would. She asked if they could send her pictures at least. They told her yes, and then turned around and told her, oh, I don't think that you want to see your son like that. Come on. Like, this is just very devastating for my family, and we really need to push this story out there. So if y'all could please repost this video, keep saying his name, Javion McGee, hashtag justice for Javion, and we are going to fight for him. I have my cousin 100%, and they're not getting away with this. So please share this video. Thank you.
Okay, for a second, I paused it. If you notice that it paused for 2 or 3 seconds, I made it where there was no echo from this side. And the other feedback I was getting from the other platform was a commercial, and I was scared. Oh, man, did I mess up again? But I'm glad that you heard it, and I'm going to play this over again in a little while. Wow. Wow. I'm looking at the comments, and it's quite obvious that we have so much going on in this country, but yet many people want to hide their hand when they do certain things. I just don't understand it, like I said. But I reached out to the cousin, and I've yet to hear from her, which it wasn't too long ago. It was a few hours. And if she hears this or anybody hears this, my contact information is in the description area below, and I'm here 24/7. Just call me, and we'll go online. I'm like a fireman with this thing. If I'm free, we'll go on at that very moment and let you speak, knowing that there are certain words we can't say. Even then, in a country where they say we have freedom of speech, we really don't. We still have to kowtow under someone else who wants to limit us because they're afraid of our unity. But yeah, I'm going to say it, but I'm not going to use those words. I'm going to blank it out. I'm going to say blank, right? It's, I'm going to say this again. This tragic event is not just an isolated incident, but a continuation of a long, painful history of blank and racial violence that has plagued the United States. Javion McGee's story cannot be told without looking back at the terror Black Americans have faced for generations. We must confront the reality that blanking remains a part of the American landscape, an insidious and violent reminder of the systemic racism that continues to haunt this nation. You see, racism is like electricity. I'm always thinking offbeat type of thoughts. What do you mean it's like electricity? Well, it's not like racism is just floating around. Electricity is not floating around. You walk into your home and you put the switch on. Behind the wall, the switch connects the circuit and your lights come on, right? You have your refrigerator plugged in. You have your washing machine plugged in. You have your radio, your computer. You have different things that are charged with electricity. So we say racism, but it's not floating around. See, the electricity is contained in wires. And it's controlled. But see, racism had to have something for it to flow through. That spirit, that evil. Just like we need wires to direct the electricity where we want it, how we want it, depending on the layout of our home. But can this thing, racism, be controlled? Looking back historically, evidently it can't be. So the conduit is the person. They manifest these things into happening because of the state and the charge that remains and exists in their heart. They know how to smile when they want and control you and control it, rather. But in their most authentic moments, they can't help it if they think they can get away with it. It's not for us to freak out and think and wonder and have this dominate our thoughts, because we have the seeds of greatness inside of us, and there are things that we have to do on this planet and in this journey that is unfortunate. We have to think in a defensive manner, which takes away from the total focus of doing what we have to do on this planet. Yes, racism exists, but I'm not going to be afraid of it. I've had to taste it daily in different degrees in my life. And it feels so good to get away from a country that is saturated with it. It's infested with it. And even when no one's around you to execute what's in their heart, it remains as a mental scar that every time you see someone who may look like or contain the packaging of those wires, which you have the green wire, you have the white wire, you have the black wire, and sometimes you have the red wire, right? So usually racism comes through a certain color wire, right? It ain't the black one. It ain't the green one. And it's surely not the red one. Yeah, we can say it's the red one because those necks, if you know what I mean. So when we see that color wire, our guard subconsciously goes up because we're used to getting the shock of racism coming through that. So this is a daily part of our psyche, and some people just don't understand what it has done to us. We're on the defensive even in everyday life, all because of the evil that these people have as a charge of racism running through their internal wires. And don't call it a sickness. It ain't sick. It's evil. It's demonic. It's evil. So now we associate a certain color wire with a certain charge. In our daily movement, when we have to touch this wire and we don't get shocked, say, oh, wow, I'm kind of surprised. But it can lull you to sleep because these people who know they're racist are shapeshifters. I've spoken with many of those color wires, and especially when I worked with the incarcerated as a corrections officer. And there was one that I sat down and spoke with, and I got him to talk. And I let him know, I really want to know what makes you, you, and why do you think the way you do? He let me know that he was currently a member of the Ku Klux Klan. And if you saw him, he looked to be an oversized, inbred, barely intelligent individual who had to struggle to even get that simple job because all you're doing is babysitting adults. See, one thing he told me, and I was evaluating him, he didn't know my skills of absorbing a person's essence and being able to hold on to it, to be able to convey it through the written word or speaking. I was just a corrections officer to him from New York City. So I didn't stress him. But over the weeks and months that we worked that post together, he told me so much about him. I won't say his name, but one of the telling things that he told me, which if I could have allowed myself to be myself when I heard these things, it would have been a riot between me and him and not any of those who are incarcerated and fast asleep that night. It pissed me off. But when you're going undercover around the enemy, you have to know how to control your responses so that they tell you more of the secrets. See, I live this. I've tasted it. I've watched it. I've talked to people. And the thing he told me, because he felt real comfortable now, when you have a cat in your home that you love and you take care of, but deep down you have a problem with mice. The cat may not know that. But see, the mice get very comfortable when you feed the cat too much. You gotta leave the cat a little hungry sometime, so they'll go after the mice as a meal. I've seen it in other people's homes where the cat was so fat, happy, and well-fed, sitting down next to the tray of food. And the mice were walking next to him and jumping in his own tray and eating some of the food. And the cat didn't do a daggone thing. So in speaking to him, I made him feel as though I was that fat, unaggressive cat that didn't really have much consciousness to snap at him because they know a live one when they see him. And he told me, he says, Lance, I know you're black. Now, this is a Hicktown guy from Central Florida in Polk County. Country, alligators. Oh, that type of situation. See, what he said was that he didn't like black people, but he's strangely attracted to the bodies of black women. And there was a black woman that was out in the country also with her upbringing and didn't have too much sense from what I can gather. And he would pay her to disrobe and mainly perform an act on him, if you know what I mean. And that went on for years. And I've got to wonder, what kind of sister is this? She must not have known the history. She must not know. No excuse. So he said he didn't mind laying down with a black woman because of their physical attributes on the backside that he enjoyed so much. But he would never marry one. In other words, once I'm done with you, you can go back to the doghouse out in the back, and maybe I'll throw you a few extra scraps of food because of what you afforded me with that playground of your body. You see how they think? Most of them will do that. I was watching a video the other day when they were speaking about how many thousands of black women that this particular slave master went through. Thousands. And when the other friends would come over to their plantation or his plantation, hey, I got a new slave back there. You ought to see her body. Go back there, man. Have a little fun with her. Go on. And as soon as that woman would see that look in the eye of that guest, I would hope that she didn't submit without a fight. But obviously, many were afraid for their lives and just degraded and beat down. Because remember, we look at it, and I said this earlier before, we look at that situation like an episode of Roots. Slavery can go by in 1 week in several episodes. We can get up and go to the commercials, or see the commercials and go to the bathroom, grab something to eat, come back by the time the commercials are over, and sit down. And when I say commercials, we have commercials on TV now, but on the cable that we watch and the satellites that we watch, lots of times it's straight through. So we don't understand that generation after generation after generation was born into this thing. And I'm going to get on with the history of it. And people were born into it knowing they were going to die in it. What do you think the life expectancy was back then, with the many diseases and ailments that weren't conquered yet? Usually when you got sick, you died. Unless you were young and had a strong immune system. Certain sicknesses back in that day. And do you think that there was any rush to heal and help one who was enslaved, who was only looked at as a piece of property? Well, if she dies or he dies, we'll just go ahead and get some other ones. We'll just go buy some other ones. They're getting older anyway. Let them die. We don't care. You understand? So they were born into this, and we were dying in it. We had grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren. And oftentimes we didn't have a chance to see what was in our bloodline coming after us because we were easily sold. So do you understand how emotionally messed up we were? If a man truly loved his wife, that were both enslaved and, according to the slave master, were good slaves, but the woman was easily pregnant, so they would sell her off to the next plantation so she can breed more babies with another, what they would call a slave. Never to see his wife again, knowing that the intimacies they shared that was so special as death hung over their head were going to be experienced with someone else, and she didn't want this, but it had to happen. So why do you think we're so screwed up now on so many levels? I'm not saying anybody here in the chat room. I'm just speaking about overall. You know, sometimes we'll have a rainstorm come to our city or our hometown, and it's raging. You know how it goes. You look out the window, you see them dark clouds. You hear the thunder and lightning, or you hear the thunder and you see the lightning, and you may get a few drops where you live, right? So you say, man, that storm is raging. So you don't know where it's going. You're preparing for it, but it doesn't really touch you all the way. So it doesn't mean that all of us have a severe degree of mental and emotional and spiritual trauma like others, because some of us didn't go through it like that for it to be passed down into our DNA. And I'll get back on the topic, yo. I'm just flowing right now because this thing pissed me off. September 13th, 2024. And again, because of the algorithm of these social media platforms, I cannot say the LYN word, right? I'm just saying blanking right now. You've been blanked for no reason. No reason. Because of the insecurities, evil, and hate in an insecure man whose DNA causes him to feel superior, yet extremely insecure. And this is why the penises of those who were enslaved, and even after it was over with, technically on the books, they got a thing about black dicks. Sorry to say it that way, but sometimes you just got to say it. And to my sisters, I'm not trying to be lewd. If my words offend anybody, could you imagine the deed? Could you imagine watching your son, watching your husband, even if you weren't technically married by there, you jumped the broom with this person and you made a commitment and you have children with them. And not only are they going to take them away to be LYN'd, can't say the whole word, but you hear his screams. Look, I've been sometimes watching a boxing match with friends at their house or they're at my house. Sometimes a little kid's in there running around. He doesn't know what's going on. You're standing there watching the fight for the football game, and this little kid comes with his hands up and he smacks you in a friendly way, not knowing that he smacked you between your legs as a man. Man, that thing hurt. It seemed like just a mere pat. I think Eddie Murphy talked about that in one of his stand-ups. You just got to tap it the right way, and it's an immense pain that shoots to your brain. So could you imagine when they would castrate a man? It's not just a tap. It's a knife. Anywhere you get stabbed and cut is going to hurt. A paper cut can hurt real bad if it's at the right part of your body. Unbelievable. So now, you mean to tell me they cut this thing off before or even after? Why do you do this? Because you ain't sick, you evil. And this wife, his woman, the mother of his children, and the children have to see this. What is it about you that makes you like this? You know, sometimes in the things that I see them do to us collectively over the centuries, it makes Satan not look like a bad guy. You got a better chance with Satan, the devil, Beelzebub, whatever you call it, Shaitan, but you got a better chance with him than with some of these people out here. What kind of pleasure do you derive out of this? This is September 14th, and we had this happen. Not the castration part, but does it matter? Does it matter if you like French fries at the restaurant or rice? They're both carbohydrates. Does it matter if you eat chicken or eat fish? It's digested as protein. Look, I'm through asking why. You just evil. And there's no excuse. And we need to be a protected people under the law, federal law. We need to be. Why aren't we? So many other people are protected. And I'm gonna go across close to the line. Certain people are protected. Adolf ain't nowhere around. Right? Other people are protected. And they're flooding the country. I got nothing against Asians. I know how crafty they can be, and I got my eye on them. But they're a protected class. This people protected class. That people protected class. LGBTQ protected class. I shouldn't have to know what you do behind closed doors. And now we're going to protect that. But we can't be protected. I don't see any one of them LYN'd. For those who don't know, I can't say the word if you just came in. I don't understand it. And I'm done thinking about it. Right now, we have to protect ourselves. There's no more trying to navigate a system that won't even go through a proper investigation. The mother of Javion wanted to come down to identify the body, and they wouldn't permit it. What are you hiding? They said that he had to get, or she had to get the permission of the father. Oh, all of a sudden you're talking about black fathers now when you don't even want to acknowledge them. You want them out of the household. You want to have the suit sitting up in front of you, but you want to take the thread out the suit, which makes the suit degraded. The black family is reduced without the man. I'm not minimizing the role of the woman. It's equal together. The black family is a threat to all of these people, and they don't want us to be together. And every time you have a black woman who may be shot just because she rebukes something in the name of Jesus, if she want to say that, she can say that. I got no problem with her. We all come from different roads and have different belief systems, but she felt something. Then now, every time we are snuffed out, we just can't say, well, that happened last week. That was just one person. It wasn't 100. Yes, it was 100. Yes, it was 1,000. Yes, it was 1,000,000. Well, Lance, you losing your mind. It was just one person. No, it's not. When you kill off a black man, or rather delete, excuse me, or a black woman, you're deleting their bloodline. Do you remember back in the 70s, they used to have on TV, like we had to celebrate this, the King family. The King family. It was dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of white people in this family called the King family. And they would dance and all this stuff. I mean, God, dog, where did they come from? They came from the union of one man and one woman. I'm not saying the one man and one woman had all these hundreds of kids. That's impossible, time-wise. Poor lady, if she did. But the King family, I don't know actually, but it could have been the great-great-grandchildren of two people who had a lineage that they documented and they all stayed intact. I don't know that part, but that's to show you that when you take out one of them, that one King family member who was the great-great-grandfather who caused all this to come about, what happened if he was snuffed out? You wouldn't have all of these hundreds, if not thousands, of people in the King family that used to come on TV back in the 70s around the holiday time. I don't know if many people would remember that. But they're taking their time on a slow burn, and every different way to get rid of us. And so this also is a reminder and also a distraction. What do you mean, Lance? It's a distraction. It's making us get more because we're getting numb to it. And we see that, and we'll go out and eat some bad food, which is helping to kill us, and we're doing it ourselves. We'll see that, get stressed out and go drink some alcohol, which is messing up our livers, messing us up. We go out and drive drunk, we might get killed or kill somebody, and we'll help. It's always, it's just a cycle. That's the most obvious. But the system was made in a way that we slowly burn off away. You have company over, you have a celebration at your home. Everybody starts to go. It's nice when you have that person who stays behind and says, let me help you clean up. Let me help you wash the dishes. But there's some dishes and pots that have food on it that's stuck so hard. Say, okay, baby, don't worry about it. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to let these pots soak. So you put a little liquid detergent in it and push it around, let it sit there so it can emulsify the hard substances of food, the starchy stuff that was stuck to the plate, so it could be easier when you clean it up the next morning. So we're being dealt with on so many different levels that we don't even realize. It's a cycle. And so while some of us will argue, you're not voting for Kamala? Notice how the story did not go out. I noticed in the last few hours it's on some small local channels as far as their media is concerned, to just give us a little taste, to make us feel as though, you know, like when you're going home with your mother and your father, whoever raised you, and you're far away from home, and so they let you stop by to McDonald's and get a little French fries or give you a little bag of cheese doodles or whatever it is. I'm not saying you ate that, but this will hold you over until you get home. So this coverage will hold you over so it doesn't sting as much, but the word ain't getting out. And they don't want this story to go out. You know why? And this is my opinion. This is my perspective. They don't want that story to go out because that might be an eventual question presented to Kamala Harris. And as much as she's claimed to be a black woman, we know she's not. Sorry to break your bubble, Kamala supporters. But how is she going to want to bring justice for Javion McGee when she'd rather let him stay where he is, or if he was alive, lock him up and hide the evidence that he's innocent? And if you really were from us, as you claim to be in a lie, Kamala Harris, why don't you try to make amends and go and direct yourself to force this to be a federal investigation? Now, the later reports from what I'm hearing is that he wasn't actually found LYN, cinched. It rhymes with that. No, that he was leaning up against a tree with the rope around his neck. I don't know if there were any wounds from him trying to defend himself or any other thing. So right now, as I speak about this story, I'm not trying to present it as though I know the facts, all of the facts. All I know is that he's not with us anymore. All I know about him is not much. But at 21 years old, to be driving a truck, working, you're from Chicago, why did he have to get it? I'm not saying anybody else should get it, but he's not the stereotype. You know how they focus on crime with us in Chicago, and I know it could be bad, yes, but there are other conditions facilitating that. See? So he's a working young man in another state with his truck. That's commendable. What might he have been if he continued to work, learn, grow, strive? What would he have become? He's 21 years old. At 31, 41, 51, 61, this is what hurts me. What would I be to not have a shot at life? And I'm thinking about me at 21 and where I was in life, nowhere near learning what I've learned so far. Maybe I didn't do anything great to have my name up in lights, and I never tried for that. I know people that have never made it past that age, never made it past 18, never made it past 14. My dear classmate, Queen Hill, back in elementary school, her brother, and I won't say his name, but I say her name. Her brother was LYN in New York City in the 70s. Did it get any coverage? No. Because the dirty hands of the media use their dirty hands to cover the tracks of those who do these acts, because to me, it's one and the same. And then we now want to share the news, and they censor us. They censor our outrage. They censor our pain, unless it's for their benefit, unless it's for their cause. They use us like a condiment. Oh, pass the ketchup. I need a little ketchup, please. You put the amount of ketchup you want, the amount of salt you want, a lot of mustard, sauerkraut, whatever, onions, to your liking. So we can only speak in a way to their liking. Once we hit the limit, the buzzer goes off and you out. Ain't that something? You're right, Gifty, Sine. No one cares about black men. We're so disposable, like a Dixie cup. Do you feel guilty when you throw away a Dixie cup? When you at the doctor or something, they say, okay, you take this medication, here's a little cup. You go put a little water in it and you just toss it down. No garbage can, you just leave it there. Who cares? You don't sit up at night, oh my God, I feel bad. I just got rid of that Dixie cup. It deserves a proper burial in the garbage can, but I tossed it down the stairwell when I was walking down the steps. You get more care for a Dixie cup than you do black men in America. And this is why I try to tell people out here in the motherland who want to be so fast to come to America. And like I said, I am not anti-American, my people. I'm not anti-American, the beautiful land and the country. I'm not. I don't hate anybody, but I don't love anybody who wants to hate my people and do things to my people. And even then, my people turn on me, gossip on me, wish me bad, cast their little voodoo spells on me that don't work. And I have to say, to be honest, I get more opposition from my own people most of the time while still trying to love them unconditionally and still get hate. That's a tough place to be in. I'm not some famous person out there. And much love to the two sisters that I met the other day that you saw on video and showed me a little love and appreciation. That's all we want. That's all we want. And we're being led now to be separate. They use the social media. They gave it to us. It was sweet. But a lot of poison has sugar in it now, doesn't it? And it tastes good. Cough syrup, the right brand. You know, you didn't mind taking it as a kid. This is a cherry flavor. I like, Mommy, don't buy that flavor. Buy the cherry one. Don't be buying that Vicks. That was nasty. Get the one with the cherry flavor. People eating Luden's cough drops like candy. Y'all know how it is. Oh, there's no candy? Give me the Luden's. You ain't got no cough. I love name dropping. I know we all can relate to that. But we're so separate with each other right now. Ain't that something? We're going against each other. You're right, Gifty. Self-oppression. Yeah. That's right. It's crazy that medicine has sugar in it. See, medicine is really poison that works to alleviate you of a certain sickness. but it's not poison. You call it medicine. And then after the job is done, you keep taking it. You're going to poison yourself. But we're poisoned now. We're like, I hate to say it, I'm not calling black people roaches. Don't nobody come on here and say, I'm just using an analogy. I'm full of them. You know that roach motel or that substance that you can put out, not the roach motel, because you go in there, you get stuck, but that little powder that they have that you can put out for the roaches, just sprinkle a little bit. You don't have to sprinkle it all over your house. Let the roaches or one of the roach touch that substance and bring it back to the nest. Bring it back to the nest. There's more than one way to be L-Y-N, the word that rhymes with cinch. So they're crafty. They have you now like the roach. Black man driving down the road. He been working hard. His wife's been working hard. They haven't been getting along too tough because of the stress of making money, paying for the children's school and tuition, maybe being a little stressed, high blood pressure up, usual things, never-ending volley of bills. And you know, the older you get, the faster time moves on. So it's almost like every week you're paying monthly bills. No excuse, I'm just painting a scenario. She hasn't been feeling well. They're getting up in years. They're not old, but they're getting older. And, you know, her hormones have changed. And she kind of, you know, snaps at him a little bit. I'm not blaming the woman, no. But he's driving down the street and he sees this tall, voluptuous woman. No, I'm not going to say it's a man this time. He never saw her before. And she's crossing the street. She's not a streetwalker, but he notices her and he wishes he can talk to her. Why? You married, man. But the madness of living in America has you reaching for any drug, alcohol, drugs. A woman is not a drug. But the way they push it in social media, the woman now is an object of pleasure and a get high. And he hasn't done this before, but he sees something that he would love to get high with. He sees her heading to the supermarket. It's probably going to close in another 20 minutes. Now, all of a sudden, he wants to go to the supermarket. All of a sudden, he wants to bring his wife something that she might need. You wasn't thinking about that before, brother. You see what's walking in that tight skirt, and she's not trying to put herself out that way, that woman. But because of the state of your own mind that has been poisoned by Instagram and TikTok and the booty and the U-porn and the red tube and yeah, I know about the porn sites. I know about them. I'm a man, I know about them. It's not good. I don't go in there. People send me things. Hey, you need to talk about that, man. They got cartoons with demons having sex with women. Yeah. My eyeballs have seen it all, and with women, I've done it all. No shame in that. That's what made me to know the things that I know now, and I can talk about it freestyle. We ain't even get on with what I want to read as far as my notes are concerned. So he finds himself in the store, really confused as to what he wants to buy. But he finds himself down her aisle. And he starts a conversation which seems innocent. And she said, "Didn't I see you by the red light?" "Oh, yes, you did." "Oh, God, I have to get an Uber, but I've been hit on by so many Uber drivers and I don't feel safe." "Oh, really? Where do you live?" Come to find out they live close by. Well, he offers to drop her home, and he does. She invites him in. And like that substance that's put out there for the roaches, he happens to be HIV positive, and he brings the poison on home. I'm not saying the woman is the poison, but this is how the society has us screwed up. We uptight about something else, and we see something else as a release, and we don't have control in every part of our life. Was the Titanic blown in half for it to sink? Or was it just a small way for water to get in comparison to the huge ship. You can be a black man or a black woman who has done great works in the community and worldwide, highly revered, highly respected. And it takes one crack in your armor to sink the ship of righteousness that you have been a captain of all your life. So we have to take care to be careful. I'm no big name. I'm not out there like that. But you damn sure best believe you'd be shocked if you see my emails and my direct messages. We never get a chance to drop our guard. Now, that being said, allow me to take a minute to deal with this half a gallon. This song like that.
Take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they said. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real, might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Trying to rule the block but don't know what goes on it. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government.
Yes, the advantages to the male anatomy. I understand that. But we need our sisters. You know? A lot of women back then, well, you got it so lucky, you can just go anywhere. Or go quick. I know. Let me know how the sound is, if you can still hear me. I have everything turned down on my computers and my little speaker so I don't get any feedback that will annoy you into listening. But what I want to do right now, let me go back to seeing the chat room because I had to leave the screen to cut that music on. And I know all is well. Let me just see. You're right, Earth Angel. No discipline. I see the symbolism there. That's right. Can lead to death of the body, which in reality, the minute you stop having discipline, see, it's not like you didn't have to, like discipline stopped when you were encountered. It was in the mind first. You were compromising with your discipline. Well, it wouldn't be so bad if I get a little piece of that chocolate cake over there. I've been good. It wouldn't be bad if I get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You get food poisoning, you snuffed out. I mean, not everything is gory. Not everything has those consequences of life and death. But in this day and age, what they're doing to our food, the diseases that are out here, I mean, circumstances around here, I can tell you some stories. That's why I don't want no encounters with no kind of chance, nothing. Let me make my little videos. Let me stay home. Let me be up in the mountains and share all my life experiences so somebody can get something out of it. I'm not trying to be the one. I don't want to be that old man at the club with my shirt buttoned down to my navel with a bunch of gold chains and be thinking I'm the hot man and all they want is money from me. No. I'm saying that's how women are, but you put yourself in a situation as an old dude. What you think? What you think? So I'm going to speak about this, about the history of cinching, LYN, in America. And I say it that way because of the algorithms that are automatic now. It's AI driven. And as soon as you say a word, bang, they catch it. They don't need human moderators anymore that get tired and fatigued and let certain words go by. These are like those robotic dogs that have a police department now. If they coming for you, there's no negotiating. So I want to remain here on this platform to be able to reach the people that used to follow me before they took down my channel. And it may not be the full 117,000 that will come back. I mean, I don't, because you know, sometimes you subscribe to a channel because it's one good video. And you say, you're in a mood. Then you see on the side, you're like, I don't know why I subscribed to them. You go back and look at the other videos and they're corny. Yeah, me unsubscribe. It's okay. Everybody's not going to love you. Cinching, LYN, has been a brutal tool of white supremacy in the United States for over 300 plus years. It was not simply a matter of extrajudicial punishment, but a method used to terrorize and control Black communities. From the early 19th century through the 1960s, and you can say to the present day, thousands of Black men and children were LYN'd across America, with many more subjected to other forms of racial violence. These deletions, you know, you can't say the MUR word now, really, it slips out every now and then, but these deletions were often carried out publicly, with large white crowds gathering to witness and participate in the slaughter of innocent Black people, their bodies sometimes mutilated or burned as souvenirs were taken. Souvenir of a pinky, of a thumb, of a tooth, of an eye, of an ear, of a penis. And I remember seeing photos, searched on Google for different research I was doing. And I said, wait a second. That photograph is kind of clear. That picture was taken when? 1923? Wait a second. Little kid's over there smiling. If that kid is 8 years old in 1923, that means he was born probably in 1915, 1914. Wait a second. 1914, you're born, 24, you're 10, 34, you're 20, 44, you're 30, 54, you're 40, 64, you're 50. Did I say 50? Yeah, 50, 74, you're 60. I got a 60-year-old teacher that looks like that little person there. See, so these are secrets that they hold, and it's not like it's 500 years ago. A lot of people who are grandparents when I was growing up remember that stuff, but they're the little old lady you want to help across the street, and she'll quickly spit in your face if she had the chance. She'll quickly, if she was working in a restaurant, spit some special sauce. Remember, 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed. This burger tastes good. I'm not going to say SNOT, but lots of times them little old ladies were still capable of that because they had your granddaddy, your great-granddaddy's Black penis in their trunk. Yet they don't like you. They hate you, but they crave you intimately because you're not a human being. They're sick. They want to delete you, but they want to lay up with you. Now, the deletion of a person is one thing, but that part there, that's sick. Mixed in with the evil. How are you going to want something and want to take it out? We're not talking to dinner. Take it out off of this earth. And they now have to repress these feelings that of vibrating high in their DNA. They don't want to get any reparations because that's to the mission that their family used us to build country and build their wealth in ways that we don't even realize. Not just, well, just go pick cotton and just go build this. What? To this day, they're enjoying the luxury of what we've done through our bloodline, but we can't inherit the wealth of what we built for them, because that's acknowledging. Bring the Venezuelans over and give them something. Go send all your money, the taxpayer money that we all work for, to Ukraine. Send it over to them, that other place there with them people that Kanye West didn't like. Everybody gets it. We don't get nothing, and it's never going to change. And I'll say it again. The day they give us reparations, invest it quick. I'm not saying spend, invest. Because next week, the dollar after that's going to crash for good. Because they know what they're doing. But there are people who are so connected to this thing on that side of things, and they don't want to admit the sickness and dysfunction in their family line. The United States, a country that prides itself on its Christian values and its freedom, built itself on the backs of black people hijacked from Africa. Okay, we're a global people. We're all over the planet. Does that stop you from being melanated? Well, don't call me African. I'm FBA. I'm from, you don't deserve, Africans stink. And so, come on, man. I'm out here in Africa, and I'm looking at people every day. I'm like, that look just like somebody I know from America. They may have a different expression on their face. They may walk a little different because, you know, the culture, they don't bop over here as much. You know what I mean? Same thing. And we are so screwed up hating on ourselves, helping the oppressor. Sick. Oh, God. I'm going to say it again. The United States, a country that prides itself on its Christian values and its freedom, built itself on the backs of black people hijacked from Africa. So you think if black folks were there in America, which I believe they're all over the world, that they were going to treat you any better? We're just going to treat the ones from Africa that way. Look what they did to the Native Americans. So you think you any better? They're almost non-existent now. And that's what they have for us. That's the intention for us. They want the planet to themselves. They even want to block out the sun because the sun don't love them. I'm going to read off a few people who are known for what happened to them as far as their lynching, Lyn. Emmett Till, 1955, perhaps the most famous case of lynching in American history. 14-year-old Emmett Till was brutally deleted in Mississippi after being accused of whistling at a white woman. His, I don't want to say the K word, but I'll just say his illers, 2 white men were acquitted despite overwhelming evidence of their guilt. That's your American system. That was 1955. I was born 8 years later. What if I was down in Mississippi and was whistling at a dog and they said it was a white man? You wouldn't know me. Mary Turner, 1918, in Georgia. Mary Turner, a pregnant black woman, was lynched after publicly condemning the lynching of her husband. What do you expect her to do? Well, I guess it's okay. No, it's your husband. She was, I'll say, hung by her ankles, doused in gasoline, and set on her womb and crushed underfoot. These people, American history, why you want to hide that history? Because it tells you of your lineage. We don't get down like that. You leave us alone, we leave you alone. We even take a lot. We're even a people who are very forgiving. But what do you expect a woman, a pregnant black woman, to do? She's going to condemn that. They better be glad that she didn't come at her with a knife or some kind of pistol. And because of that, she was hung by her ankles, doused in gasoline, and set on fire. 1918. My father was born in 1916 in Jamaica. I'm just saying the time. We can relate to these times. Her unborn child was unborn. Let me see who this is calling me. It might be important. Hello? Hello? Good evening. Who am I speaking to? Okay. I'm in the middle of a live program. Can I call you back? Okay, what is this concerning, if I may ask? Excuse me? Yeah, you're calling me for a reason. Could you tell me that reason? Okay, beautiful. Okay, good. I'm in the middle of a live stream. Sorry to be so forceful, but I receive a lot of prank phone calls. As soon as I'm done, I'll give you a call, brother. You know, one thing I don't like, the people, and this is a brother from out here. Hello. Hi, how are you? Greeting you. Yo, what are you calling me for? Who are you? You know what I mean? That happens in America too. If I call you and you don't know me, hello, good afternoon. I got your number from so-and-so. My name is Lancescurv, and the reason why I'm calling you is because some of these people just say hello, hi, yeah, good afternoon, praise God, good evening, yes, That's why when the phone rings, I don't know the number, I have to be very firm. And I knew it was a local call. And what people have started to do is find my number on you have the tall building in Kenya, in South Africa, in America, Scurv Media. I know you have lots of money. I just want, don't let me get comedic because I'm still pissed about what I'm reading. The third one, 1916 in Waco, Texas. 17-year-old Jesse Washington was tortured, burned alive, and lynched before a cheering crowd of thousands. He was accused of murdering a white woman, though no evidence supported the claim. If they had no evidence, they had no evidence. And people could say, well, maybe he did. But look, in that time with them people, they're going to find some evidence to do something. They just choose you. Remember that song years ago, Choosing You, Choosing You. I'm gonna search that and play that later on. Sam Hose, Hose. I'm not trying to say anything derogatory toward women, but that's his name, Sam Hose. 1899. After a confrontation with his employer, Sam Hose was cinched, Lyn, in Georgia. A crowd of 2,000 gathered to watch as he was burned alive. His body mutilated and pieces of his remains sold as souvenirs. Yo. And we can't say anything about what we go through here. Look, I wish people would welcome Golden Gold, and it must be an Earth Angel, of course. Kelly Land, I saw you, but I didn't say anything, but I'm acknowledging everybody here. I wanted to go in on this, and like I said, I apologized last night for not doing a show. I was extremely exhausted. I'm not going to tell the whole reason why, but I had to go travel, and paperwork was supposed to be waiting for me for a certain transaction. And I went way across Accra. I can't even say across town because Accra is so huge. And I got there, and homeboy wasn't there. So I called him. And he tells me, no. You told me Monday morning. I said, no, I know. Look, I don't have any Bidenism going on here, buddy. We agreed that I was going to come late in the afternoon when things were wrapping down at your place of employment so I can get this paperwork. So I'm way out there, and it takes several vans to get back, no problem. I took my time. When I got in, it was after the time that I was supposed to start a show, but I didn't have one scheduled. So I was up, And all of a sudden, the fatigue was hitting me hard. And you know, I've done shows tired before. I don't let that stop me. But it would have been really like not wise to be that tired and push, because when I stay up past a certain point, I can't go back to sleep. So I said, you know what? Let me get up and double up. Mr. Political called me. We had a little conversation, but that was a recording. I put that up already. We have this one going on, and I'm going to freshen up, do some videos, and maybe come back live later on. I'm crazy that way. If I miss out, I'm like, not only do I have to replace it, I have to do more. I'm committed to this thing. That's just how I am with anything that I do. Claude Neal, 1934. In Florida, Neal was accused of almost said that word, R-A-P. You know, the word that rhymes with grape, okay? A white woman. A mob kidnapped him from jail, tortured him, and mutilated his body in a gruesome public spectacle. Oh, man. I mean, dang. What is it about these people? They get off on this. I'll take my steak rare. You love blood. Maybe you are vampires. There's something. This happens in different parts of the country at different times. You hate us that much? You can possess that much hate? Unbelievable. James Byrd Jr., 1998, just the other day. I mean, for somebody my age. Though not cinching by hanging, Byrd's deletion in Jasper, Texas. That's how I even know about Jasper, Texas. Whenever I hear anything about Jasper, Texas, I know some of you will agree, I think of James Byrd Jr. Stands as one of the most horrific modern day lynchings. He was chained to a truck by white supremacists and dragged to his death along a road. And it was in my early years starting online. It wasn't 1998 because I didn't get online until 2001. But it was around 2005 or 6. Maybe 2008. I had a older YouTube channel that don't have much videos on. But I wasn't doing this and they weren't live streaming. But I had lots of writing and lots of artwork, and I was known a lot by that. Well, James Byrd's daughter called me and we spoke a lot. And she wanted me to somehow either write an article or do something, because we had talk shows where you had Blog Talk Radio, but before that you had different platforms where you'd have to call in and push in a code. You know what I mean? And then like you save it somehow, or you can go back and visit it. I have a gazillion of those that I have to find and drop down. When I was doing the art, I had always like 3 or 4 interviews a week. And so through Black Planet, that helped my name to get out there. So this manifestation of me in this censorship world I'm an old time. I'm a dinosaur to this. I'm a dinosaur. So they took the channel, almost had 6,000 videos. That doesn't stop me. It's the energy. They can't kill my spirit. But I spoke with her a lot. And from what I could remember, it really affected her. And I mean, that wasn't long ago, and she was young, right? But I always wondered. Maybe I'll try to look her up or whatever. We just lost contact and never got anything done that way. It was more so of a shoulder to cry on kind of thing. I'm not saying that sarcastically, but she just needed somebody to talk to, and she saw me visible online, and she reached out, and because I've always kept my number out there. But I just hope she's well, whether she's with us or not on this plane. I just hope she's well. Because imagine the father, what he had to go through. Man, you're getting burned. You're being dragged by a truck, chained up, and your clothes are getting ripped off of you. There's a buddy of mine from New York City that used to drive his motorcycle crazy. He would always wear the leather. This guy was going probably about 120 miles an hour late at night on some freeway, upstate New York. And there was no cars around. He just lost control of the bike and skid. And he was in the hospital for a long time, flesh ripped off of his body. It even ripped off the leather outfit that he had on. And if he didn't have that, he would be not with us. So could you imagine? You know, I took a fall the other day walking down by the side of the house, and we have a lot of rocks and small stones, and it's on the grate. I slipped, I flew. I landed literally on my stomach with my hands down on my side, and I had to turn my head at the last minute because there was a big stone my face was about to hit. And it made a little mark, and I cut myself inside my mouth. Nobody noticed though, but my knee, my elbow is still hurting from that. And that was about 2 weeks ago. So the older you get, the more you realize that we are not immortal on a physical level. And could you imagine receiving such pain and the panic that comes with it? Laura and L.D. Nelson, a mother and her teenage son, Laura and L.D. Nelson, were cinched in Okemah, Oklahoma. They were dragged from their jail cells and hanged from a bridge by a white mob. You're already locked up. I mean, they were locked up for something, but if you're locked up and you're in the system, let the system do its thing, but we know the system is crooked. That's why I despise the American system. I despise it. Yeah, I despise it. Am I anti-American? No, I'm anti-American system, right? I have to say that a lot before people start saying, well, we need to go over there and get him and do something to him. He's talking this stuff. He got away. George Meadows, 1889. Meadows was accused of KILL, a white woman in Alabama. I'm pausing because I'm watching the words careful. Though there was no evidence linking him to the crime, he was cinched by a mob, his body riddled with bullets after his death. So we snuffed you out, and now we're going to shoot you up. What is this bloodthirsty, demonic, evil thing about you all? And you can hold it for a long time, but all of a sudden, when it starts happening, here come the mobs celebrating it. There's no way you're going to get past that in some type of divine universal judgment. No way. No way. It's in your DNA. Last one. And this is not really the last one, because if I did more research, I'm quite sure I can pull up hundreds documented. Will Brown, 1919. I was thinking about, Kamala's old buddy, Will Brown, right? 1919. During the Omaha race riots, Will Brown, a black man accused of assaulting a white woman, was beaten, cinched, LYN, and burned by a mob. What's up with the mob thing? His charred body was dragged through the streets in celebration. So y'all don't do that to your own when you do these things to your own, but you do it to the black man, even when you don't even have proof that they did it. I mean, really and truly, who in their right mind knowing how this is when you hear about what happens to us? I'm not saying there's fear, but you're going to go and do that? You're going to go and do that, and you know what the results are going to be. Even if you didn't do it, they might just accuse you of it. Talk about walk around with your head on a swivel. You had to be careful. Unbelievable. I don't know, y'all. The cinching of black people in America is not a random act of violence. It's a calculated and systemic method of control. It is a gruesome reminder that in the United States, black lives have always been devalued and in many cases, brutally extinguished. Cinching was used to keep black people in their place, to punish them for perceived infractions, and to instill fear in the wider black community. The message was clear. Your life has no value here. Your body, your spirit, and your future belong to us. And what's the message in 2024? Can I say it again? Your life has no value here. Your body, remember when we had to wear the masks a couple of years ago? Your spirit, the forced religion on us, and your future belong to us. Your future. We control every aspect of your lives, damn it, and you better know that. I know there's a system. I know there's a way that we have to get our money while we're in that system. But they want the system to be something that we're so fearful of and we cannot see beyond. And if we can see beyond, we're afraid to make the leap. I ain't afraid of making no damn leap. I'm not saying because many here are still in America that you are. I'm not throwing off anybody because it's not for everybody. You might have a special needs child, ailing grandmother, a couple years to retirement where you can get a check. You know what I mean? I don't know. Every situation is different. So I'm not putting myself up to be this guy who I'm braver than you are. No, I would never do that. And there's been rumors of people saying that. Find me a recording. When I talk to you private, if you want, if you're fake, record the phone call. Now, they may come up with something with AI one day on me because all my voice and my face and everything's out there. So if you see something out of place, don't believe it at first. They'll do it. And they'll mess up. 61-year-old Lancescurv was seen in New York City robbing a bank. Here's footage. Oh my God, that's him. Really? I'm in Africa. So we cut the chances of that down exponentially. Trust me. It was living there. I'm just telling you, being here now, there's cultural differences in the settling in of, which I have handled very well, like a new house that's settled in, and sometimes around the foundation on the side of the house, you'll see a little crack in the cement because it's settling. But other than that, I took to this place like a duck to water. I really know what it's like to feel, for me, to feel like I'm home. The lineage of my family through my father, my mother was born in America. She had Native American in. I'm not denouncing anything, but this is it for me in my soul. You know, I just, every day feels like Sunday. Like, you know, when Sunday is, you're relaxed, you're not doing much, whatever, and you feel this calm inside of you. I can't explain it. And I always crave this. And I could never get that in America. And some people that I know, they're trying to convince me, whatever. Look, I got a big mouth. People spot me, they see me, they know. They ain't gonna give me no peace. I see people in the street in America and they hate you automatically. I know what you do online. But even before that, whatever we do, for those of us who are aware, they see our light and they don't like it because our light shines out, even if we're walking past them quiet and still. Whether it's those people who have the white wire that have the hateful racist current inside of them, or those who look like us who are agents for those people who hate themselves and hate the fact that you love yourself and you're productive with yourself and you know how to spend your time and you know how to live a wholesome life. They hate that. So regardless of the packaging, you have to judge the spirit, discern the spirit. But they see your light. I know many of you who are here have had situations where you've walked into administration, the office somewhere, the tag, license plate, license, whatever, and you get that person who's supposed to help you, and they just don't like you. Like, you don't even know me. How do you not like me? It's not about you. It's your light. Well, yeah, it makes it about you. You're treating people nice and they just snub you. And you think to yourself, well, maybe they're having a bad day. You see them again, it's the same thing. Stay away from those people. You don't have to heal those people. Keep your light to yourself, and just like a budget it out to the people who deserve it, who need encouragement, who need that light that the world doesn't give them, because some people are so damn worldly on a decadent level and cold and evil and like to see people down and don't want to lift people up. Oh, I can act evil in defense to scare people away. I'm very convincing of it. There are people who think I'm a monster who've seen the manufactured sides of me, and I do have strong life force. So when I get angry, it scares people sometimes. When I get righteously angry, I can't sleep for 3 days. That's how powerful that supernova is. So I'd rather take my time and in measured levels disperse that energy and do something positive. I got Scurv, man. He crazy, man. He be doing videos all day. He be writing all day. He ain't got no time for nothing else. Plus, he work a job 11 hours and have a side gig for 3. That was in Orlando. Yeah. I can't allow myself to supernova out. That's why they had to keep Mike Tyson when he was younger and just turned pro. They had him fighting every 2 weeks. He had so much energy that he might get in trouble. Minor things, but it's like, we got to keep this brother busy. But my energy never fell off. It's a tad slower, maybe 1/100th. But yeah, it's a stress and a drain on our life force to be in the midst of a society that treats us this way, sees us a certain way, and we don't know what they're going to come with out of nowhere. So this is why I'm so much more relaxed. I can digest more of my life force for good because my guard is not up like that. It's not. I've got a few more paragraphs to read, but I just want to say this, that, oh, I see you, Golden Gold. Easy like Sunday morning. But I just want to say this, that when I run across UK or American Caucasians here in Ghana, it's a funny look they give me because they know I'm not from here, even though my bloodline is from here. The split second, it happened the other day. Actually, it happened yesterday. No, was it yesterday? Was it 2 days ago? 2 days ago, yeah, 2 days ago. So right now, that was Thursday. And I saw a bunch of them looking to get a phone, like a local phone, because they have really cheap phones here that you can use with other local numbers, and it's like it goes a long way. They look like old Nokias from the late 90s. All you can do is dial. It's not a smartphone. You can get those for like 100 CDs, and if the exchange rate is like about $1 for 15 CDs, that's like $6 and change for one of those cheap phones. They're throwaways. I need to get one, for real. I give them my number so much and let them call on that until they elevated my mind to know who they are, because I got to call this guy back after the show. But look, I don't have a staff. I don't have layers between me and the public. You know, it's like you heard. I picked the phone up and I'm talking. So I got to be my own secretary, right? But it's something when they see you here relaxed. Many. They look at you. They're not looking at anybody else. Oh, look at him. I can tell he's from New York. I can tell he's from America. There's even many of the Ghanaians. I know you are from New York. I'm like, how you know I'm from New York? A certain way we have. Just the same way if you're from the South or from the West Coast. The stamp is on you and they study us a lot. But there's a look of shock and awe when they see a person like me who they know knows a deal about them, who they know in a split second, we download each other's energy and they know I done been through some sugar honey iced tea in America. They know it. And they see how relaxed I am, how joyous I am. I might not be walking around with a smile like I'm, Prozac'd up or something, but it's almost like a slight shock with a trickle of resentment, because it's almost like he's not where we can get him where we want him to be. This is the DNA talking. They might not even be consciously thinking about that. And when you walk near them, they don't know how to hold their face. This young guy, he was a tall guy, looked like he was the son, the mother, the husband, and 3 other brothers that were younger, white folks, right there on Oxford Street. Right before I met my sister, I put the video up. And the one guy looked like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, his hair all frizzed up. Maybe he thought that would help him out here if he had a manufactured afro. You can't hide who you are, brother. So he looked at me in the peripherals because when I was far away, he was watching me. No homo, but he was watching me. I got close and he turned his head and he looked at me at the corner of his eye. Then he glanced at me real quick as I was close to get a final validation that I wasn't born in the motherland. because he picked up on that. And he gave the most fake, nervous smile. I didn't even look at him. I glanced him, and then as he was pulling away, he just smiled like, I'm going to give you that little puppy dog smile. I don't need it, bro. I'm walking strong out here. I walk strong in America, too. That's what a lot of folks didn't like. I'm not talking smack. Y'all, a lot of y'all know me for years online through videos and stuff. I walked it and talked it. Oh, people say, oh, you went to Africa and got brave. I said, you must be a newcomer to my life. I've been like this from single-digit ages. My father and mother made me this way, and I love it. No. If you think I'm like that, you got the wrong one. Never. And that's what's landed me in a lot of trouble on these jobs and in the hierarchies and the little, sometimes you got to deal with people to pass through paperwork or do something, and they trying to mess with you because they can feel you. And I'm laid back when you meet me. I'm not some gruesome person to scare you away. That's what it is. Let me just read the rest of this. White Americans, many of whom called themselves Christians, participated in these lynchings, justifying their actions with warped interpretations of religious doctrine and the entrenched belief that Black people were inferior. Yet, how can a people claim spiritual authority when their very existence is rooted in such cruelty and hatred? That's the part that makes them supernova out. All the while, there's churches and people going to church after getting a souvenir of a black finger, a toe, a penis, a nipple, or whatever it may be. This is the America Black people know. This is the America Black men and women walk through every day. We carry the weight of this history on our shoulders, knowing that at any moment, our lives can be violently snatched away. We have seen this over and over again, from cinchings to police shootings, from Emmett Till to Javion McGee, who lost his life yesterday at the time of this recording. The burden of living while Black in America is a constant threat of violence, whether from the police, vigilantes, or systemic racism. There's an ever-present fear that when you walk out of your front door, you may not come back. For Black men and women, death is always a possibility. The police, with their guns and badges, represent a legal form of this threat. But white citizens, emboldened by centuries of racial supremacy, feel entitled to take matters into their own hands as well. The history of the Ku Klux Klan and other white supremacist organizations is intertwined with American law enforcement. Don't we know that? In many cases, these groups are one and the same. Police officers, judges, and politicians have often been members of the Klan, and they continue to protect and serve the interests of white supremacy. The fear that Black people feel is not irrational. It's rooted in this truth. We know that our lives are under constant threat, and yet there are no protections for us. We cannot call the police because often the police are the ones committing the violence. We cannot seek justice because the system is designed to oppress us. We walk with attention, knowing that we are not safe, knowing that the deck is stacked against us. Javan McGee's death is a reminder that the LYN word is still business as usual in America. The methods may have changed, but the outcome is the same. Black lives are deemed expendable, whether it's through the hands of a white mob or the system itself. Black people are still being lynched in America. Ooh, I said the word. Ooh! Oh, haha. Let's see how that works out. I don't care right now. Right now, I don't care. I'm not going to say it again, but I don't care because that's what it is. The media's silence on this issue is deafening, but it is not surprising. We have seen this time and time again. Our pain, our suffering, our deaths are not newsworthy because they do not fit into the narrative of American exceptionalism. Living in America as a Black person means living in a state of constant alertness. Whether the racism is overt or systemic, it never goes away. It is a part of every interaction, every glance, every word, the microaggressions, the structural barriers, the constant dehumanization. It all adds up to a life lived in survival mode. That's a conversation right there. Look for something this week from me. A life lived in survival mode and the effects on our mind, body, and spirit, our souls. I'm going to talk about that. For many Black people, the only solution is to leave America entirely. I'm glad I did, but I love my people back there and I want to help in any way I can, right? But I have personally chosen to move to Ghana, West Africa, where I can live free from the daily terror of being Black in America. But this may not be an option for everyone. It is a choice that more and more of us are considering, because the truth is, America was never built for us. It was built on us. The lynching of Javan McGee is a stark reminder that Black lives are still under siege in America. This country, which was built on the labor and suffering of Black people, continues to deny us justice, safety, and dignity. While the media may turn a blind eye, we must continue to tell our stories, to remember our history, and to demand accountability. Lynch is not a thing of the past. It is very much alive today. And until we confront this legacy of violence and terror, America will never truly be free. I'm going to share the link if anybody wants to say anything. If not, it's okay. I know this was pretty much a Pearl Harbor kamikaze last minute unscheduled show because I didn't do one yesterday. So in my mind, this one was for yesterday. I still have another one to do, but I'm going to recuperate and I'll probably do some other type of video. And I do have very much a trying week this week coming up, but I am going to commit to doing my show every day at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if for some reason it happens to get pushed back, then just understand. We're almost there. There's the link in the chat room. Anyone wants to come in just to say hi or just to speak on the topic, please do so. I'm also going to play the videotape from Javion McGee's cousin, I believe, but she's a family member, because I want you to hear what she had to say. Here it is, one last time.
Hey y'all, I would have never thought I had to make this kind of post on my TikTok, but my family desperately needs your help. This is my little cousin, Javion McGee. He's from Chicago, Illinois. He was 21 years old and would have been 22 in a few weeks. He was found hanging from a tree in Henderson, North Carolina yesterday. He drove trucks, so that was his reason for even being out there. The police officers are trying to say that he went to Walmart and purchased a rope and hung himself. We obviously don't believe that, and we are just asking for your help to push your story out there. This isn't covered on any local platforms. No news stations, radio, none of that. So we're trying to push it out there. We really need your help. The police officers in the coroner's office are giving us a hard time, not allowing his mom to identify the body. At one point, they told her she can't identify the body due to COVID. And then the next day, today, they told her the father has to give her permission for that, which he said that he would. She asked if they could send her pictures at least. They told her yes, and then turned around and told her, oh, I don't think that you want to see your son like that. Come on. Like, this is just very devastating for my family, and we really need to push this story out there. So if y'all could please repost this video, keep saying his name, Javion McGee. hashtag justice for Javion, and we are going to fight for him, and we are standing behind my cousin 100%, and they're not getting away with this. So please share this video. Thank you.
Yes, I just saw your comment, Earth Angel, and there were many comments that I didn't see because of me sharing my notes and kind of ranting. But you're right, I'm going to show that comment. Earth Angel 1105 Remix said, Lance, I was worried about you for a while. Before you first visited Africa, I saw this country. You were fed up with this place. Your immune system was down. That's why you had contracted that virus. Yes. I went to Ghana the first time. We dropped down on April 26, 2019. Left at April 25th. And I was here for 3 weeks. And my immune system was run down. I was working a lot. And I was doing so many shows at that time. And a little before then, I had someone who was a regular guest on the show at that time. I will say it. I'm not going to say the name, but I'll give, no, I won't give the initials. I'll hint at the initials. There's a boxer who at light heavyweight, middleweight, super middleweight, he had the initials of her. He moved up to heavyweight in 2002 or 2003 when the title went back down. That'll tell you. I don't use the channel, the platform for drama or even acknowledging negative entities. I have to say this. They wanted to host a website, and I offered for them to jump onto my hosting because I had dedicated hosting. Now, it's kind of not hard to explain it, but I'll explain it this way. Dedicated hosting is like owning the whole city. And my website was housed in one little house. So if I have all of this space and all of this place, hey, take anywhere in the city you want to house your website. It's not hurting me. My content is good. I could have 100 people come on my server. I'm paying for it anyway. I let her know, sister, it's okay. Let me give you the passcodes so your web guy can come in. It doesn't bother me at all, right? It's like me living in some mansion somewhere that's got 50 bedrooms, you know what I mean? And you're sleeping on the curb outside. I'm like, come on inside here and get some. I won't even see you. So it worked out for a while. I didn't take any money from her, but there was a motivation beyond that. Something up with her anyway. Well, one day people were calling me and they told me they couldn't find my website. I'm like, yeah, I paid my bill. Couldn't find it. Come to find out, this individual called me right after I found out. Oh my God, Lance. Oh my God, I am so sorry. My web guy hit the wrong button and it just completely vaporized your website. Your website's not in existence anymore. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. And just like when I lost the channel, I was cool. I know how to de-escalate myself on an emotional level. But this is what I know. Put it this way. I had my buddy who lives in another country who does the heavy lifting on the website for me. I do 95% of what you see on the website, but there's certain things that I'm not a guru like that. I just know. It's like having a mechanic, but you don't bring the car to the mechanic to pay the oil, to change the oil. You can do it yourself. You don't always have to go to the car wash to get your car detailed. Sometimes like, let me just take time, play a little music, put the Bluetooth in my ear and talk to my friends and go wash this car myself. You know what I mean? I had to call him. Website was gone. What did he tell me? Like, Lance, there's no way that was a mistake. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to give it a benefit of the doubt. Tell me why. Lance, you have to go through 6 steps, separate steps, multiple steps for one step, and multiple steps on the 5 other ones. I said, what do you mean? Your website is segmented. It's not one website. It is to the person visiting it, but you have to click that you want to delete that section, and they're going to ask you again, are you sure? Right? And they're going to go through 5 or 6 different ways of asking. You do know if you click this, again, it's going to not be seen again. That's what it goes through 5 or 6 times. Boom. Then one section is gone. Look, that's like telling me your child was outside in front of your house, right? In front of your house playing ball, and they threw the ball and it slipped out of their hand and busted the window. That happens. I broke a neighbor's window one time. I was scared. I was a little kid. But I stood there. Yes, I did it, But this is like them telling you that one baseball or softball or whatever, they threw it at the window and all the windows busted out in your house. No, they did this on purpose. They did this on purpose. And she's calling you crying because she really wanted my stuff taken down. Isn't that something? And I'll go even further to put it on the record. She thought I was making a lot of money at that time. I was making at that time, because there was a time when for a couple of months it came out of nowhere. Boom, oh man. And what did I do? I took all that money and put it right back into the equipment I have now. But for her videos were brilliant, but they weren't making any money. Why? Because the topics were out there and scathing on certain people. Good stuff. I'll give her credit where credit's due, but she was very aggressive all the time and sometimes in the show just screaming out and blah, 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 angry. He says, I know you're making money and you're not giving me any. Listen, I'm the first one in anything. I don't want anybody to ever say that I'm crooked in any way that way, especially with money. I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove it to you. I've done business with people over the years and never had a problem. My friend who helped me in this situation, I've said it before and I'm proud to say it. He doesn't get PayPal in his country. He gets something else. After many years of working together, because I've been working with him for like 12 or 13 years, I met him on Fiverr. He asked me, Lance, I have a lot of clients in America, but they can't pay me direct. It's a problem. Would it be possible if you could receive my funds and forward it to me? Of course, there's going to be a fee for you to forward it to me. There's going to be a fee coming out when they pay. It'll be a little less, a couple dollars, but that's better than nothing. I said, brother, it's no problem. Send it. Right? He never complained about a penny missing. I was always transparent, showing him screenshots. Which you can't screenshot a bank account because they don't allow you to do that, but you can take another phone and screenshot that. To the point where he's like, Lance, just stop, man. Just stop. You don't have to go to it every time. I said, I just want to let you know, brother, that this is, and he watches my website like a hawk and implemented it so it's protected. But it was knocked off to show you how damn evil people can be. Your own black sister, mad and jealous, thinking that I'm making all this money. When I was driving 11 hours a day on the bus in public, had to deal with slick mouth individuals, rocks being thrown at the bus, people threatening crazy folks, stinking folks. Come on. And working a night gig afterward with Mrs. Scurv for 2 or 3 hours. Then coming home and doing, look, they're doing my graphics, writing stuff out, dealing with these algorithms, dealing with guests. Okay, you didn't call me, let's record. Man, shoot, then sleep, then get up and do another one and then leave again. Put my work in, it was still shadow banned. And when I proved to her, I said, listen, I'm going to screenshot some things to you for the videos that you've done on this channel. I think the total accumulation of what she made was about $25 because it was not monetized. And you can't monetize a video that YouTube says no. You might receive limited revenue from YouTube Premium, but this is not monetized for all advertisers because they're not going to advertise something wholesome on that stuff that I'll say was voodoo-esque, okay? Just to be funny. And I'm not one to throw off on anybody who's into the natural things that we've done, as long as it's something positive. I'm not that stupid. So I showed her, I said, listen, all these videos you're gonna, and look, I was doing the work on them. I was doing the banners. I was sitting up at night, right? And I have to say this. I've loaned her money from time to time, way more than what she made. And I'm doing your work. I'm letting you in on that. I'm letting you know that. And I'm showing you that video is not mine. You got accumulation about possibly $25. But I don't do the tit for tat thing, but how much did you get out of me? And how much elbow grease did I have to put in? And I'm paying for programs that is helping to set your show up. See, these are the things behind the scenes that people run off with their mouth. Oh, Lance, no, tell the whole story. So you got mad and you conned me into letting you taking advantage of my heart only so you can destroy something, thinking you're going to hurt me. But guess what? My friend had it already stored, and he uploaded everything again. We changed the passcodes. All I did was lose about 3 written articles from January to April when that happened of 2019. And after that, when June came, right? Because I didn't lose the content because the videos were on YouTube. So I had to repopulate the blog with 4 months, about 120 videos and, articles that I wrote and everything like that for each video. That was work. Then to get ready to come to God, working. I never admit how much I work and sometimes the fatigue, but it was for a good cause. And I've been through loss before, so that don't stop me. They took down the channel that almost had 6,000 videos, the high 5,000s. And it wasn't just like, little 5-minute videos. Y'all know I'd go on for 6-7 hours. I'm just running my mouth now. We just about hit now the 2-hour mark on this one. That's child's play. 2 hours? But that's to show you what's in people's hearts. And there were other attacks levied on me in the platform and envy and this and other people trying to do what you do. You can do what you do. I'll even help you. The ones that I helped, they're usually the ones that come at you. You know what I mean? It's a long-term thing for me. When 2001 came in February in 2001, when I had first moved to Orlando, pretty much, I had to go back and forth to New York to sell my house on April 5th, 2001. And I had to do some changes on the property, but I got online. Oh, no, I didn't get online yet. I got the computer and pushed the button and the computer came on. I was so computer illiterate that it was a victory for me to connect the monitor to the tower. I called my friends up 3 a.m. Yo, I got the computer on. Lance, you called me for that? And I called 3 or 4 other people. I know nothing. I didn't know anything about any of this stuff. And it wasn't social. It was a social media like, with Black Planet and different message boards. I'm from that era. I'm not from this 2024 era. I've kept up. Right? What's the old man that he's like 90-something years old or something now? And he's still like one of the billionaires of the world. And people say, well, how did you get rich? And he tells you these simple things, simple practices and whatnot. His name is just right on the tip. He got glasses, got a little bald in the front and whatever. I feel like that dude on social media though. When Facebook first came out, I'm like, what is this corny thing? YouTube, that's for kids. I didn't know what these things were going to turn into. I didn't know what I was going to be doing. I mean, I'm done talking about that, but I'm just kind of flowing before I sign off, and I'll come back later on because I feel like I'm behind. This is yesterday's show. But it was a different frontier. I was just drawing pictures, working in the jail, putting them up when I was ready. And my first type of censorship was when America Online refused to continue to do business with me. I paid my little bill. I had a homepage, AOL Hometown. And I put artwork that was controversial, but it was not breaking any rules. It dealt with race and stuff. So old pictures, I set to find them and put them back up. And they cut me. I think it was one of Kamala Harris's cousins or aunts that I had on the phone. I was like, look at that. You get a free phone call to India. But if I was calling somebody I knew, I'd have to pay. No, we don't do business with you, Lancescurv. I was mad because some of those, visuals were gone. Something had happened to some of the drawings that I did. It's okay. I'm gonna get my own website. They ripped me off. I was paying $100 a month. I didn't know. I was rocking it though. Then I realized it doesn't have to be that price. I realized I learned. Oh man, I learned. And this thing changed, and you have to learn this and learn that. It was open market. It wasn't just censorship. Free and enjoy it, get used to it. Even the people who were saying, I'm not going to tell my business on that thing, they telling their business, they got too relaxed. Like the mice who were eating out of the cat's pan. The cat didn't do anything, right? And when the cat finally did something, the mice were shocked because they got too complacent. Ain't that something? And things evolved and things changed, and I got a boost in my notoriety. I didn't know I was going to get there. I wasn't even shooting for that. I just drawing my pictures and writing my articles and sharing it and talking. And we all know the rest. I won't bore you with that, but even still, whatever celebrations happen, oh, they took Lance's channel down. It ain't going to happen again. Oh, they can do it, but I'm all over the place in a strategic way. I'm not embedding YouTube videos into my site. No more. You can hang that up. See? So that's what it is. And so on the site, that's why I'm going to be putting articles. I've been writing articles, been writing more articles on topics that the social media platforms will allow. So check it out over there every now and then, and go over there and sign up and subscribe with your email address. And when I put content out there, the usual free stuff too that you see here, but other stuff that you won't see. That's going to be my hook, because these days, nobody goes to a website anymore. Before it was all about websites. When social media came, I learned the term today. People got finger lazy. When I came out to Ghana, I wanted to share everything with everybody, every moment. I had 2 cameras in my hand lots of times. I'm not lying. Or a phone showing something live while I'm recording it with the camera. Right? I walked up into people are looking, I didn't care. I'm tying my shoe and I'm like, look, everybody, I'm tying my shoe in Africa. I was excited. And then I had to get on the computer now and transfer things and upload them. I stayed up at night, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Everybody getting ready, 8 o'clock. Let's go. I'm like, I only had 3 hours of sleep. So what? I got to get this. I was wearing myself down out there. I was already worn out. That's why rest is important. I'm getting it now. But I was living clean, eating clean, good food, clean home, no drama. But we can be our own worst enemy, and the negative forces can use our own enthusiasm against us, because while we are doing good things, you're getting appreciated, you're still wearing yourself down. So we went up to the Volta region. The mosquitoes look like horses, man. I remember I was in the room and I was sleeping, and just big mosquitoes. One of them had malaria in them, and they bit me up that night. But see, the thing is, what I learned is the nocturnal female mosquitoes, and not all female mosquitoes. A certain type of the male mosquitoes are not going to give you malaria. They can't carry it. And again, if there's no malaria around, you're not going to get it because they're not going to bite somebody who doesn't have it and bring it to you. The scariest thing, though, is when you see a mosquito and you kill it and you see blood. It's like, you wonder, whose blood is that? Because it didn't bite me. So I thought I was all right. And 2 days before we came home, I wasn't feeling good. I would stay in the hotel room, laying around. Now, you'll know I'm talkative. I like to be around people. I like to do my videotapes. I like to tell jokes. I want to, let's all laugh. I stayed in and I didn't hardly eat. I didn't want to eat. And it didn't all the way hit me yet. It was time to come home. I got on the flight. When I got up in New York City to transfer to the flight to Orlando, Florida, when I stood up, it was like there were electrical bolts going through my brain. And I always explain it this way, and you probably heard it before. Like when you go to the tourist areas, like in New York City, anyway, there's a tourist area, and they sell these little gadgets, these little souvenirs, and they got that crystal ball looking thing, but it's not a ball. Maybe it is, and you put your fingers on it, and the electric bolts come right to where your finger is, but you can't feel any shock. That's what my head felt like. And I tried to talk. You know what it sounded like at that time? I'm like, what the heck is wrong with me? Am I having a stroke? That was that thing getting me, and I had no balance. I had no strength. I got on the next plane. It was freezing. It wasn't freezing. It was me. When I got down to New York, we went to the doctor, found out that that's what it was. And I started to get the medication, but the medication didn't kick in right away. I was worn down. The thing ate me up from 240 pounds to 214 pounds in less than a week. 26 pounds. Me. No appetite. I was dying. The doctor said my kidneys and liver were down to 25% and 35% functionability. Not to be lewd, but that's why when I would go urinate, it was like syrup. It was like honey. I was dehydrated. Didn't want to drink, didn't want to eat, burning up. That thing, it took effect on me so bad. I felt so bad. I wasn't doing no shows. You know, when something's in you, you know what I mean? You still do it. That's what keeps you alive and keeps you look forward to it. I was just laying there. Get up in the morning, Mcghee would get up and get me to get something to eat. I eat a half a cup of it. One time I threw the rest of the garbage. I ain't gonna lie. It was good food. I was just, did you eat it? Yeah, I ate it. My favorite too. Didn't want to put it in the fridge and I just threw it away. Food disgusted me. Then the last day, at its worst, and I always tell this story, and if you're eating something, please turn it off or turn it down. It's nothing super nasty. But I was laying in the bed, and with a headboard, because we have the post bed, right? So where the head is, I looked up on the wall next to the bed and saw this dark, big hole in the wall. The room is halfway dark. You know when you have lights on the rest of the house and they pull the door in and it would be 6 inches open and a light for the next room lights up the room. So it's still kind of gloomy. Well, I looked up and I saw this open hole. I couldn't see anything and it was just black in there. And I remember saying, man, not consciously when I'm talking because I was so weak, but I was thinking how peaceful that hole felt. And it had to be about 8 feet around. Couldn't see the paint of the wall. You just saw this dark hole, like you're looking off into space. And I just knew I'd be all right and I'd be better if I just go through this place, go to that hole. I wasn't thinking, oh, that could be a trick of Satan or I'm dying. I didn't think, I just wanted to, it was such peace in that place. And then Mr. Scurv came in the room. And I looked back on the bed and I said, sweetheart, I said, you're always telling me about not eating in the bed. I didn't know you made chocolate cake. And why is the chocolate cake in the bed? We used to get on me about eating in the bed. Now you sitting here eating chocolate cake in the bed. And when did you do that? She said, honey, we need to get you up and go to the bathroom because that's not chocolate cake, buddy. I said, oh my God. My bodily functions. I was losing control of all of it. I was so sucked in and emaciated so quick. 26 pounds in 7 days. I'm not running and dieting and taking pills or something. You can't even do that damn near naturally. You can with medication and pills and stuff. And that's when things began to kick in a little better with the medication because I was so far gone. And then the next day we went to the doctor. And from that night to that next day, I felt a little better. Weak. My face hasn't been that chiseled in 40 years. I was like, I'm sick, but I look a little more handsome because all the fat off my face is gone. And the doctor said, he said, I've never seen anything like this in my life. I'm not supposed to say this, but I actually called many of my colleagues on your condition. And I never, at this point, I have to go back and tell them because I was saying to them that this young man is not going to make it. Please, I'm not supposed to say that. So please don't get me in trouble. I said, no, I want to hear it from your end. He said, your condition was like a jumbo jet nosediving straight to the ground. And when it gets about 3 stories above the ground, like a 3-story building, it just turned and went right back on up. He said, you're not responsible for this, brother. He says, I can see at your age you've been taking care of yourself physically, but it's not anything that you did. I am freaked out by what I've seen in you. There's something that kept you here, man. I don't know what your faith is. I don't know what your belief is. I don't know what your religion is. I don't care to know. And I shouldn't be saying all this, man, but you're supposed to be dead. That was like a righteous punch in the face. He said, you here for a reason. I'm not trying to make it dramatic, but there's no way. I've never seen anything like this before. And I've dealt with cases of malaria. Yours was the worst. And your internal organs were failing. You already know it. I had to crawl to the bathroom when Mrs. Scurv took a run out because she took off from work to stay with me and make sure I was all right. And she knew I was on my way out of here, I feel. She never said that, but the look on her face as the days went on and she saw my vibrance disappearing out of my body, she was scared. She was scared. I didn't know what to feel. I know I was in a different place, meaning that kind of sickness and, you know, but you're right, Earth Angel. Before that, my immune system, and for years I've been up night doing shows and extra stuff. And I remember Mrs. Scurv saying to somebody, and I never realized she understood, like, because a lot goes into this. You see a person sit in the computer for hours and it's like, okay, they're on the computer. Some other joker might be looking at porn and you know what I mean? I'm doing work. I'm writing and doing, and more, at one point I had 3 computers rocking them, doing this on one, doing this on the other. I like that. My brain thinks fast. I was always hyperactive. I still am. That's why I was so tired last night. But she was scared. She didn't want to show me that she was scared, but she thought she was going to lose her husband. And she catered to me. I'm not saying it in a narcissistic way. She showed her love. She catered to me. He saw the chocolate cake in the bed and still washed me and wiped me. See? And to segue into another little topic there. It took me months to get better, to get, you know, I think that was the middle of May 2019. June went by. I'm still laying around recuperating. July, and we were invited to go to New York early July to meet with Baba Haru. I did some videotapes with him. I was weak then, but I had to get out of Orlando. You had to just like, man, that was traumatic for me. And to be that close to death, to taste it, to see that hole. There wasn't anything evil. Some people say, oh, you're going that hole and your demons will get you. I did not feel that. I'm very sensitive on a spiritual level the older I get. You know, but this is something that is another topic eventually that I'll talk about. But you know, when I was younger and doing bodybuilding and being a male stripper and adventurous and women and never saying no and a nice guy and a gentleman, right? Hardworking, disciplined, living clean, no drugs, no crime. But people thought that I would be this worldly guy looking for women who got the little waistline and the big bazonkas and the rounded back and the weave and the lipstick and the eyeliner looking like Spider-Man and fingernails and whatever, some sex vixen, whatever. And I'm not knocking anybody who's like that or who tries to put that image out there. But too many good women out here who don't strive for that look, who don't adhere to this ideology that you must do this and must do that. No, because if you're the real thing and you're a real woman and you love your husband, you love your man, he will appreciate you. But he's got to be in the right state of mind to know the difference too. So for all the sisters who may think, I know we're conscious here, but for all the sisters who may think they have to go that route to get noticed, all you're going to do is get noticed by somebody who's looking at you for the outward look, and then the next one that has the biggest this and the roundest this, and you know the game. I don't have to say it. There's always the next one. So you'll never be happy as a man if, oh, look at her. So now you want to trade in what you got and get an upgrade to this model that might bring you more hell in your life than anything else. So when they saw my choice, a couple of them said, hey man, you know, I thought you would have been with son. Nope. I don't want that. Yeah, man, nigga, you lying, man, because you know guys be saying that stuff when they see something larger than life and they listen, you don't know the life I lived. I know all about that for a long time growing up. Trust me. Just to have peace of mind, a stable home, and love, real unconditional love. Where you have a woman who will wipe your ass and clean the shit out of your ass when you dying and still love you. You can't whip that. Case closed. So that's why I can focus on what I'm doing. I can stay in the house all day and be happy. I'm sorry for the words, y'all, but that's what it was. I had to say it that way. A lot of the fellas out here got these superficial things going on, and you get sick, and you're near death, and you might have drool coming out your mouth, whatever. You might be paralyzed, and your thing don't work no more. And they gone. Ooh, I tried, but he be stinking, and I can't be washing him up every day. And they gone. That goes for the men and the women. Find some man who's gonna love you no matter what. Look, of course, you want to have basic hygiene, a bit set of intelligence. But if God didn't make his nose pointy, why are you going to say he's not, you know? He might be of a darker complexion. What's wrong with that? That's a good thing. He may not be 6'6". He may not be hung down to his knee. He might have more balls and penis. So what? If he loves you and supports you unconditionally, certain things begin not to matter when you get older. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Man, I done been through so much. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't even know the half of it. That's what it is. You look at some of these comments here. What you said about the state of society. You would rant and I could see it. We always saying, Lance, calm down. Yes, even that. I was overloading. was overloaded because I'm sensitive. I'm an artist, y'all. I see things, not just, oh, I see the shading on the couch over there and I can replicate it. No, with me, it's spiritual, it's deeper. I've always been this way. You have people who can do great artwork and they have no sense of what's around them on a spiritual level. You see what I mean? Oh, I'm very content. Being content is better than fleeting happiness. I'm happy, but I'm saying when you content, that's better than, oh, I was happy yesterday, I'm not happy today. If you can be content, and for me to live below my means, yeah, this is a fabulous structure that we built. People call it a mansion. It's not, but that's it. I'm content. After giving my years of life to America, the taxes and the jobs, they want to fire you. They want to try to harass you. They want to get beat down by cops and people putting you down and your own people you're talking about to try to uplift them. And you know what I mean? It's like, no, man, out of here. I'm not running. Nothing scares me in America. Come on. I'm not scared. I'm not Superman, but I'm not scared. I've walked down the roughest neighborhoods 2, 3 in the morning, whatever. People call me crazy man, you crazy. Friends of mine would see me 11 o'clock at night before I was driving. I was a teenager. Where you going? You going down the road, man? You gonna go check some girl? No, I'm going to the city, man. I want to go pick up some magazines. I used to love to read. And if I wanted to get up at 11 o'clock at night and take the train into Manhattan at night and get there 12:30 and look at the magazines, walk around and come back. But you taking that A train through Brooklyn, man. You know how they rob you through Brooklyn. I'm like, never happened to me. And I know that if you tried me, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I'm not Superman. I'm not no professional fighter. I don't know. I just know that, no, I wouldn't mess with me. I'm too intense and I'm not a nice guy. If you're trying to come for me that way and erase me off this, you're going to get that first. If I see that in your eyes, you're going to get it. It's like emotionally and mentally, it's a nuclear power with me, man. And I got to keep doing something. That's why I can't be around people who just want to sit around. Oh, I remember years ago. Oh, it's not the same anymore. Man, you're living now. You're supposed to strive now, build something, do something, walk, move your limbs. Yes, I get feeling down sometimes too. It's not as much. But do something. Life is movement. The other day when I met my sister, it may not be DNA, but you know the video when we ran into each other in Oxford Street, I knew it. I said, I'm going to run into some very nice people today. I'm going to meet a very nice person today. Just in my journey. And she spotted me and stopped me in the street. Wonderful spirit. I knew that. I felt that. I'm sensitive. And so being in America and seeing what it was before, even though, like when you listen to the old Marvin Gaye songs and they say, you know, what's going on and brother, what, you know, whatever. We still had more love for each other. And this is what disappointed me, that I get to this particular age and I'm disappointed in our people. Because I remember when we had more unity. Yeah, you had gossipers, you had criminals, you had people who did things, you had the same stuff, but it was low key. I remember Manhattan. I remember the cookouts in Queens. I remember my father's business in his shop in Manhattan and the people in the neighborhood where we grew up in. It was heaven. But the vibration is different now. It's like there's no oxygen. Oh yeah, there's oxygen, but the love that flowed like oxygen, we're labored in our breathing as far as love is concerned in the atmosphere. You see? That's what it is. Yes, Phoenix, Anka, yes. Not only do we see things, we feel things. And I was always one to feel. You see what I mean? Thank you, Diane. Thank you so much. You're right, Golden Gold. We used to love each other. You know? And you're right, Phoenix Anka. But my happiness, that's not running, staying in hell is ludicrous. Exactly. I never looked at it as running. Let me tell you something. I came out here for 3 weeks. Before I came out here, I knew I wanted to come out here. I did research. And when I got here, it was such a thing inside of me, a peace and a calm. And when it was time to go back, I didn't show it, but I was mad. And for me to get malaria that bad and still want to come back, that tells you something. That was luck of the draw, because most people say, well, how'd you get that? And it's a common thing. You know, the medication for malaria is over the counter. So what you do, you keep some at home. There's 6 tablets you have to take as soon as you start to feel that way. It's a certain feeling. I know the feeling now. I know that it's not dizzy in your head, but you know when you turn around a lot when you're a child and then you want to lay down? You just want to lay down. You know what I mean? You got food in the house and I don't want to eat. You're like, wait a second, I took a bite of something earlier. I didn't want to eat. This might be this thing coming. And it makes a difference to have the medicine for it right away, right there. Take it. At times, it was a false alarm, and I took 1 or 2 of the pills, twice a day, 8 hours apart. I don't know why, but that's how you have to do it. You see? That's what it is. The most peace I've ever felt in my life was when I lived overseas. I felt the air and the feel of here was like a flat line. The air had no electricity compared to overseas. Exactly. Exactly. It's hard to explain. Even though you go down into the city and it's a hustle and bustle, but you still feel a different way. You feel the energy of the people. I was down there yesterday, and I just love walking around down there. And I had to come through the market. I'm always down in the market. And people who see me like take a walking video down there, like, man, it don't look like it's all that, because I'm not driving it, and that's the place I always go. So I don't even take that much video there. I hold my little action camera in my hand just to show people. Nothing special. Now, yesterday, I went into the more urban, not urban, but corporate, big, tall banks, the buildings, and the streets a certain way, and luxury cars, which luxury cars are everywhere. And certain amenities. So people think that when I'm out in the jungle somewhere, this is country, and it's not the jungle per se. This is straight country where I live, way up in the mountains. Like I said before, it's not the fog that comes out every night. It's clouds. I'm in the clouds. You can look down on the city. It's a whole different vibration. Growing up in New York City, I loved it. It made me who I am, to know human nature. But now at this point in my life, it's for me to share all of my experiences in a creative way that can live on beyond me on this level. That's all. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying to be whatever. I'm just talking to you all like it's normal, right? I'm not trying to stiff up my voice and, oh, this is a Lancescurv show and tomorrow we're gonna. No, man. That's the way. And my dear sister, I'm not gonna call her name just for privacy, but when she met me, she's like, you're the same way. I'm like, yeah. I'm not strong enough to carry 5 and 6 different masks to put on. I don't have the guys I hang out that are drinking buddies. I don't have the people I hang out on a religious level and I'm spiritual now today. Then the next day I'm ho-hopping. I'm not calling our sisters that. I'm just using the term. Nah. If you meet somebody who knows me, if I have a homegoing service and different people come, you'll be laughing and joking. You won't even be crying. You'll be like, Lance is crazy. I didn't hear that story. You know what I mean? You'll be switching numbers and sharing numbers. We're going to keep in contact. If I can do that, then I did my job. They depend on the markets a lot, because I would just be honest and blunt with a lot. And I was just speaking about this with Mrs. Scurv earlier. A lot of the native-born Ghanaians do not grow stuff. And they don't grow a variety of stuff. You have the farmlands, and they'll bring stuff in, and they sell it to markets. That's what I don't understand. How you gonna have all this good, rich, fertile land, 0 latitude and 0 longitude? That has to mean something. And you don't grow stuff, like really grow stuff. Stuff happens to grow. Oh, I have papaya here, I have this. And some people plant. I'm not gonna lie, but I'll tell you one thing. Up here in the mountains, the folks that are up here, I hope I don't insult anybody who's from here, but they ain't growing nothing. They ain't growing nothing. They live on land and most of them ain't growing nothing. And they look at us crazy when we grow stuff and want what we have. As a Jamaican brother told me, lives up the road. He say, man, I'll grow this, I grow that, I grow this, I grow that. And when it's time to harvest, everybody has their hand out. But they have more land than me and they can do so much more. Even now, I'm different. I was, Mrs. Scurv always taught me things because she's grew up in Jamaica. And that's her heart. Her plants are her babies. I might wake up late from doing a show late and I hear her talking. I'm like, oh, sweetheart, you on the phone? No, I'm talking to my babies. I'm like, okay, I got used to that. Now I'm talking to them. It rubbed off, right? So this is so natural to her, and she's like joyous. I'm gonna get this and get that. And we were walking somewhere, like maybe down the road or even in another part of the city, and there's a nursery there that we've never been to before, and she's in there. It's like a kid in a toy store that don't want to come out. We could be walking down the street and see something exotic looking in somebody's yard, and she's, oh God, I gotta have that plant. It's like, Lance, go ring the doorbell. Go see, It's like the doorbell's on the door and there's a wall out here. I'm not going and there might be a dog. So, hello, yeah. Somebody comes out. Oh, that's the so-and-so plant. You ought to see her face light up. And they notice she has such an interest in it. It's like, listen, let me break off a little piece and give it to you. Oh, would you? And then she'll bring it home and it's a tree. I'm not saying that fast, but I'm just saying that's the mentality. In Orlando, where the soil in certain parts are not at the right pH balance to really grow stuff, but stuff grows. But the more south in Florida you go, the more tropical it is, right? So say, for example, you go to part of Florida in the panhandle near Georgia. You're not going to grow things as tropical up there. Palm trees are like short and small. So I'll say, where we were in Orlando, the soil was, because there was a lake across the street, so it was sandy kind of. It was soil, but it was like a lot of sand. And from what I could see, we were lower than the hill. So I would believe long time ago, years ago, that soil that the house was on was part of the lake. It was underwater. Because once you cross the street, houses across the street, in their backyard, there was a lake. Big lake, too. But he showed so much love to those plants. They've grown so much that even after we sold the house, different neighbors and friends would go by and take pictures and say, you see the mango tree? How many mangoes are on it? You see, I did that. I'm so glad they're taking care of it. And some people will say, well, they're not taking care of it. You just did such a good job. It's just continuing. That's what it is. So let me do something here. These people, you won't see it, but on Facebook, there's these people that try to sell airtime and so they're so rude. I'm going to block you after this show. So I got your name. So trust me, I'm going to block you. Hey. They just bust in and just, they're having a conversation here. But yeah, they don't really grow stuff. Riri, I meant to say and acknowledge you, and I was in a thought, and I kind of not forgot. I just didn't acknowledge you. But yeah, that's the way it is. We're going to do more things. There are more plans. Not that I won't share, but you know how it is energy-wise, just other people who are listening and hoping against and all this stuff. We're already further along with a lot of things that most people know, and I'll share it once we get there. Folks who I know, who I can talk to and do it personally. But yeah, there's a lot about it here. There's a lot. I want to do maybe a private show on Patreon. And again, my Patreon is not, it's not like, come on to Patreon and pay me money. No, it's not that. You can put $1 in there. And that was mainly for support anyway, not necessarily for just Patreon. But I'm going to start doing those because of censorship. And I want to speak about the people, the mentality. I want to go deep. I want to have people ask me questions. Not that I'm the authority on everything, but I'll share some experiences I won't share publicly. This is a great move. It's great for me. But the few bumps along the road, oh boy, I got to show you some funny stories. And the perceptions of when they see you, many people see you, and you try to figure out, what do you see when you see me? And they see the brainwashing and propaganda from America, because everybody in America is coming over here with a boatload of money. I wish. I wish. And I try to educate people who I run across that want to hear. I'm not saying I'm some person walking down the street, let me tell you about America. No, I'm not saying that. But when people ask me questions, they want to know certain things, and they're shocked when I tell them the reality. I don't just say bad things. I say good things about America, but it's a rotten apple that maybe you can take a bite out of the good part and throw away the rest. Right? But life is so interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna, wow, this is, what time is it now? 7:09. I might not, I said I was gonna come back live. I might record certain things, and there's certain things I have to do on the website. There'll be more content tonight, put it that way. And don't be surprised if I come back live. And it will be a shorter live, you know, and there's a boxing match tonight, but I'm way away from Las Vegas. I think it's in Las Vegas. So I won't find that out until I wake up. So it makes no sense for me to stay up. That's my only vice. I follow boxing and bodybuilding, because I used to do both of those things to a point, more so bodybuilding. But life is interesting. I just thank you all for being here with me, and I can be myself and talk. I'm not a production. I'm not some person trying to prove to the world I'm this or that. You know, I make cake in the bed too sometime. I'm human. But when you vibrate on that level, and I try to cleanse myself, meaning that I try to be more and more honest with myself in my meditations. And if I can be more honest with myself and not see myself, lie to myself, I can see the good and I can see the falsehoods in people around me. So having this tranquility and peace, all I'm hearing is crickets up here, and just peace and quiet, it unearths the residue. Like when people say, oh, they got tartar on their teeth. This residue from America and the toxicity there that has been stuck to me for so long that now it's dislodging and it's coming off. See what I mean? And it's refreshing. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Not that I ever did. I've never been into the status thing in America. Well, look at this watch. This is a Rolex, and my shoes are made in Italy by so-and-so. And I've never been that way. Never. In my early 20s, I was kind of a snazzy dresser. I got into it then, you know. And I actually gave away 3 closet fulls of clothes that still had tags on it right before I left to come to Ghana. So, man, this stuff's gonna be too hot. Even though it was Florida, out here can get hot. Not up in the mountains, though. It gets hot in the day and it's cool at night. I didn't care. I knew the feeling I was going to have when I came back here. I can't tell you the last time I wore proper shoes. I've been wearing Crocs. I got like 3 pairs. I washed them. You know, you walk out on the dirt road, you walk out, whatever. And shorts and T-shirts. I found a bag of not traditional gold and silver jewelry with diamonds on it, but stuff along the way, like, stuff that I got here and whatever. Nice stuff. I'll throw something on when I'm doing a video or something eventually. But I do have clothes from Ghana. And there's a couple outfits that I want to get myself that I like the style of. It's a matter of style for me, my personal style. And I'll build that back up again. There's some appearances and things people want me to come to and show my face. I'm not trying to be that guy, but I'll do it. I don't know if you saw the banner that was made with me on it. I'm supposed to come somewhere next week. I think it is another 2 weeks and do this big event, and they want me to speak. Look, I'm not a rapper. I'm not a singer. I'm not an entertainer. But I'll give them the mic for 3 or 4 minutes and say something very intense that I know they're going to love. I already have it in my heart. And I'll bounce. And I'll videotape it. Because it's not about, oh, look at them showing off. No. Social proof and show what you're doing. People need to draw strength from that. I'm not going to lie about stuff. No. But I love the fact that there is appreciation out here for the years of work that I put in from my heart. I really love the creative endeavors, and I might be a little sarcastic with my artwork concerning certain politicians and preachers coming up. I got some visuals in my head that they're going to send them people after me, y'all, if I draw them pictures. I got some wicked ideas in my head. That's why I identify with Michael Jackson so much, and he was so creative. He was also an artist. I couldn't believe that this guy was putting pen to paper that way. But usually there's spillover. If you're artistic in one area, you have a certain mind, and it spills over into other areas. So I can just flow in that world forever, and I feel so blessed. I don't need anything else. Yeah, we got to pay bills and stuff and make sure my check comes in the mail. I'm retired, but other than that, leave me be. I'm not saying anybody here. I'm just saying that wicked world, I don't want it. I don't crave it. I don't need the toxicity. I'm not trying to be in no rat race, whatever, but I'm still driven. I'm not going to sit in the rocking chair ever. No. Enthusiasm for life. That's what it's all about. Oh, thank you, Phoenix Anchor. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gold and Diane and everybody else who's here, who's still here. I can go up the whole chat room and try to catch every name, but I acknowledged everybody and I'm here. I like these types of exchanges too, and I want to do a lot of them on more private platforms so I can really talk. And like I said before, the conference line, I probably want to do that every Sunday, and I'll put that up on. I'm not going to put that public. I'll put that up on Patreon, but we can talk and not censor ourselves, and be that kind of free-flowing conversation. And it goes on for hours when we used to do it before. And to get to the conference line, now people have to be there when you get there. At least one person. If you go there, nobody's there. It's like going to the club on a Sunday morning. I'm not into going to the clubs or whatever, but nobody's there. But if I say, like, okay, let's pick a time, like say 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, it's 24 hours. When you go there and other people are there, hey, how you doing? Yeah, did you hear about so-and-so? No, and let it flow. I love those kind of free-flowing conversations. So I'll do it on Sundays. I'll ascertain the time. But to get there, you just go to Lancescurv.com. When you see the header, and you'll see conference line in big letters as soon as you get there. Tap it. That's what you do, is tap it. You have an audio icon and a video icon. It's not about video. You can hide your face. I suggest that because I don't go in there for the video. I just go there to, you might be dressed half naked. Nobody, we just want to hear the voice. And we just talk. Hey, man, what's going on? And we're going to be respectful. I won't tolerate anything else. I'm not going to censor your words or your experiences or your passion. Let it flow. Let it go on for hours. It cuts off after 5 hours. You just call back again. You have an option to call and an option to click as a link. Click the link. Click the link. No matter where you are in the world, you'll get on there and can stay on there for the first 5 hours and the next 5 hours. Go on as long as you want. If you want to talk for 2 or 3 days with people, go ahead. I might go to sleep. You know what? Matter of fact, I might want to do that tonight. Why not? Not right now, though. I'll say, because I have somebody coming here to deliver me something here at midnight. That sounds shady, but it's legit. I'll say 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Whoever wants to come onto the chat room, we'll continue this conversation there, but it'll be no topic. It'll be free flowing. Some of y'all may forget, maybe you're busy, you can't go, but I'm going to usually do this on Sundays, but I may just do it. I'll do it tonight around midnight. Come in there. It says, you enter the room, hit Lance's room, block out the video icon, let the audio come in and say hello. Hey, just chill there if nobody's there, because there'll be people coming. And you can say whatever name you want. You can talk about whatever. We're going to hang. You can hold up to 100 people, which is much too much. Just make sure you're not blasting music in the background, because that'll pick up on the sound there and we can't hear you. It'll kind of mess things up. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Don't worry. 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's 12 o'clock for me. That's 12 midnight for me. Or maybe even, let's say 11 for me, which is 7 Eastern. So in different parts of America, count back. This is for anybody on the planet. You can come on in. You got to talk with me now. Some people can come on and just listen, But matter of fact, I think I can drop the link from here. Let me go to my site, which means I'm actually going into that room right now. And there's a shared link. Let me get this link. But you can just go to Lancescurv.com, tap the tab that says conference line. Put it big, you can't miss it. Stevie Wonder can see it. Okay, let me see now. Start meeting. I'm not starting it, only going in there to get that link. Give me a second, y'all. After talking. Yes, nice. By now, I'm in two. I'm still in the spirit. Anyway, condolences. His cousin was on on that video. And if you want to do it, start an interview with me, asking you things to tell your story. That person, you don't have to think tragedy. This. So, my name is out there. Had a lot of subscribers, and this channel will grow fast. And that's what I do. I'm not asking anybody for money for that, you know, because when you, here's a secret. People, a lot of these guys charge. You're going to give me $500. So that right there, we pay for billboards. Away. Get some kind of shop. Okay, in the next 6 months, you make 10 more payments. Here where I am. I don't know what they create a kind of wall around. Anyway, much love to you all. More service requests. Know you, or you want to face us people watching the show. Say us in the chat room. I feel your energy, and that's where it's supposed to be. Dignified, intelligent people here, chaos free, no drama.
matter. Actually, today I got to meet my friend Lance. Yes, I got to meet my friend Lance. This is my first time meeting him in person, and he's a very kind man, seriously. I do talk with him on phone, on WhatsApp, but I've never got to meet him. But today, it's just extraordinary. He's very, anything you want to know about life, anything you want to know about just human, anything you want to know about life, please. YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media channels, you got to find him there. He's very inspiring. He's very positive. If you want anything positive about life, please subscribe to Lancescurv. And then every day you got to see different videos, different talks, different topics about life. See you.